she don't trick you one time, she's sure gonna do it again. But I'm crying, baby, honey, don't you wanna go back to the land of California, to my sweet home, Chicago? Oh, baby, don't you wanna go? Oh, baby, don't you wanna go to the land of California, to my sweet home, Chicago?
Nice. Yeah. Hey there, I'm Gareth Paul, and thanks for joining me for this guitar lesson video. Today I'm going to show you how to play Sweet Home Chicago by legendary bluesman Robert Johnson. This song is super fun to play, and it's actually pretty darn easy once you get a few things down. Our version is not going to be exactly like Robert Johnson, but it's going to be pretty close, and all you need is your guitar and your fingers, and let's get started. I'd first like to thank my friend Kate for performing this song with me at the beginning of this video. It's really hard for me to sing, so I thought I'd get her to come and do that with us, so thanks so much to Kate. We did this song in the key that Robert Johnson recorded it in. It's most likely that he was tuned to standard tuning. We're certain that he was tuned to standard tuning for this song, and most likely put a capo on the 2nd fret to get it up to, it's actually an F sharp is the key on the Robert Johnson recording. For the lesson part of this video, I'm not going to use a capo, so I'm just in E major, standard tuning, E, A, D, G, B, E, tuned at 440. Make it easier on everybody. But after you learn it, if you want to play along with him, you put the capo on the 2nd fret and just move everything up accordingly. So before I get into the specifics of this song, a few general thoughts about Robert Johnson's guitar playing. He did play a lot of songs in standard tuning. Of course, he also did a lot of songs in open tunings. Generally, he uses a slide when he's playing in open tuning, and he does not when he's in standard tuning. And one of the cool things about his guitar style is sometimes it really sounds like there's more than one guitar playing at the same time, and I'm going to show you how to achieve that effect. The way I like to think about it is you kind of have to mentally divide your guitar into 2 different sections. You've sort of got the bottom 3 strings, or kind of your rhythm section, your bass and drums, if you will, and the top 3 strings represent more of a rhythm guitar or a lead guitar voice. You're going to play chord voicings and some little licks up here on the top 3 strings when you're doing Robert Johnson stuff. And to really achieve that separation between the 2 parts of the guitar, you really have to get in the habit of damping the bottom strings with your palm. It takes a little bit of time to get the right angle, whatever works for your anatomy, but you basically want the bottom 3 strings to be really muted, so you just get this very percussive sound, and then the top 3 strings are going to ring. And you're almost always playing the bottom 3 strings with your thumb, and the top 3 strings with some combination of the first 3 fingers on your right hand. For this song, I'm only using 2 fingers. I don't find I really need my ring finger on this one. But of course you can do that if you'd like to. Some people like to assign a finger per string. So like your ring finger would play the E string, your middle finger would play the B string, and your first finger, your index finger would play the G string. That certainly works. As I said on this song, I'm really just using the 2 fingers and the thumb. But really the muting is just super important for the Robert Johnson style. I could just kind of show you a little demonstration. Here's with muting. You kind of get that sound of 2 different guitars going, and if I wasn't muting, it sounds terrible, so don't do that. So get in the habit of muting with your palm on the bottom 3 strings. I'm going to show you how to play the bass line for Sweet Home Chicago right now. It's super easy and it's a super classic blues chug that you may already know. If not, this is a great time to learn it. This song is a standard 12-bar blues form. I'm going to put the chart up right here. On the Robert Johnson recording, he goes to A in the second measure. I'm just staying on E. Either way of playing a 12-bar blues is totally legit. There's songs that do one, songs that do the other. It's probably 50-50. So you can make that choice yourself once you learn the song a little bit better. If you want to go to A, it's super cool. If you want to stay on E, works just as well. I'm not going to play a bass line for the last couple measures of the form because that's when we go to the turnaround lick that I'll show you. And there's also a really cool lick on that A chord that's 3 measures from the end that I'm also going to show you. So we're not actually playing the bass into the guitar during that part of the form. One more little note is that I'm doing the exact same thing every time through the form on this in my performance with Kate and when I show it to you. That's just for simplicity. If I was doing this in performance, I'd probably try to vary things a little bit, and I would encourage you to do the same thing. I don't really strive to play things exactly like they are on a recording. I try to play them like me, and I would encourage you to do the same thing. So I'm basing this on Robert Johnson, but it's not exactly what he does. But again, playing the same thing through every time the form on a blues progression is super legit. A lot of really great musicians do that. So don't be afraid of doing that. It still sounds pretty cool. But also don't be afraid of varying it and getting creative with it, with kind of the basics that I'm going to show you. So on to the bass line, I'm going to start a metronome. It's about 88 beats per minute. And I'm going to count you in 4 and then just play this blues chug through most of the form. I'm going to stop when we get to that A that's 3 measures from the end. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 4. Going to A. Stop right there. So just to show you what I was doing in case you didn't pick it up, I'm actually just going ahead and fingering an E7 chord. So I've got my E in the bass, I've got a B, I've got an open D, I've got a G sharp, a B and an E. It's great voicing of an E7. I'm just keeping my fingers in place there because I am going to add this lick in just a moment, but you're not actually hearing that right now. All you're hearing is the bottom 2 strings. So I'm going up from my B up here to a C sharp, 2nd fret to 4th fret. And that's all I'm doing, all Robert Johnson is doing on that E major chord or E7 chord. Couldn't be easier. Sounds great with the palm muting. When I go to A, again, I'm sort of playing that whole chord. I'm barring it across with my first finger. Just in case I happen to hit any strings, it'll still be on the right chord. And I'm doing the basic blues chug with a little twist, actually going up. Just like that. So 2nd fret with the open A on the bottom, 4th fret, 5th fret. To the B7, I'm doing something that's not super Robert Johnson-y. I'm sort of playing this whole chord. I like the sound of that. I'm still muting the bottom strings. I'm doing an alternating bass. I've got my B here, and then I'm playing an F sharp in the bass. And if you don't know this voicing, it's a great one. I've got a B here on my A string. I've got a D sharp on my D string. I've got an A natural on my G string, an open B, and an F sharp on my high E string. So just that kind of thing. You can still hear the top 3 strings are ringing and the bass strings are pretty muted. I like to hit the guitar pretty hard when I play to get a really percussive sound. So one more time, all the way through up to that A at the end of the form where I'm gonna stop. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. Going to the A. B7. I'm going to stop there on that A. So now let me show you what I'm doing with the top 3 voices, 3 strings on the guitar, while I'm chugging that E. It's kind of a cool lick. It goes like this. So I'm playing my G string and my B string open, and then hammering on the first fret of my G string, making that a G sharp, and then picking the open B and the open E, and that's it. Just like that. Now if I was a better guitar player, I might go ahead and keep that chug going in the bass when I do that lick. You can see I let the bass drop out right there. I think it sounds just as good that way. Your brain sort of substitutes and adds that, just kind of keeps that bass line going. You almost hear it even though it's not there. When I go to A, same lick. Here I am on A. When I go back to E, almost the same lick. That time I'm hammering on again the G sharp, the open G, and the B string, hammering on the G sharp, but I'm just going right back down when I get back to E. So I'm on A. Back to E. So that's pretty easy. Just get that muting down and try to throw in a cool lick on top. Play the one I did or do something of your own invention. Either way is going to sound great. And that is how to play the bass line, the basic rhythm with this little lick I'm adding on top. And in my next section I'll show you how to do the intro. So how to play the intro for Sweet Home Chicago. It's pretty easy, it goes like this. Then we'd be at the top of the form right there. One more time. So we have an E on top. I got my pinky on the 12th fret of the E string. So that's the tonic note, the home note up there on top. On bottom I have a G natural. I'm on the 12th fret on the G string. You should certainly know that the 12th fret is an octave above the open strings. So I got a B and a G. Anytime you hear this lick in a blues song, very common lick, it's always going to be the home, the tonic on top, and the chord 7th of the tonic chord on bottom. So if you hear that in A or D or any other key, you know exactly what it is and you can find those notes on your guitar. So the G just moves down chromatically. So I'm playing my 3rd finger, 2nd finger, and then 1st finger for the last 2 chromatic steps. Those are the harmonies. He changes up one thing on the last harmony. The pinky moves down 2 frets to a D natural. Sometimes he does it that way with the E remaining on top, and sometimes he moves it down. So now we have the chord 5th in the bottom voice and the chord 7th in the top voice. So that's the very beginning of the intro. Just listen either to me playing it or Robert Johnson playing it. Try to duplicate that rhythm. It starts on an and of 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Just like that. Pretty easy. And then what I'm doing, we're getting to that 5-7 chord, the B7. I'm just sliding the whole thing up a half step. Pretty common gesture that a lot of blues guitarists like to do. It's not exactly what Robert Johnson does on the recording of this. Sounds cool anyway. So here's that whole intro. 1, 2, 3. Then we'll be at the top of the form there. And that is how to play the intro for Sweet Home Chicago. Let's get into the really cool turnaround lick and also the lick that Robert Johnson plays over the A chord at the very end of the form. So we're going to isolate the last 4 measures of our 12-bar blues form right now, and we're going to go over that a few times. And in your practice, it's a good thing to do to kind of break the song into little pieces and practice little sections independently. This part's a little more challenging than your basic blues chug, so once you get that down, you might want to isolate the last 4 measures. So harmonically what's happening is we're going from a B7 to an A to an E, and then 2 beats of a quick B, then back to the top. So last 4 measures, again, I'm just playing the underlying harmonies. 2, 3, 4. There's my B, going to A, E. Quick B7, back to the top. Cool, so Robert Johnson plays a very cool lick over the A chord right there. We play the whole thing with the metronome going, the whole last 4 bars. 1, 2, 3, 4. Back to the top. So I already showed you what I'm doing on the B7, just holding this chord voicing with a little bit of an alternating bass, still muting the bass strings. So here's that lick over the A. We go from the B7. That'll get us back to E. So it's a pretty interesting lick because we've got a B in the top here and a G below it. And you might know that neither of those notes actually belong to an A chord. But he is bending. And if I were to bend that up a whole step or just slide it up a whole step, now I've got 2 notes that actually belong in the chord. I've got an A, I've got a C sharp on top and an A on bottom. Both notes, of course, belong to an A major chord. So my guess is that what he's driving at here is that really bluesy feel of sliding up from notes that are flat of chord tones up to chord tones. You can experiment with how much you want to bend on your guitar. And so what I'm doing is I'm playing the open A with my thumb and the top 2 strings with my first 2 fingers, and I'm playing them all simultaneously, and then I'm isolating my B string. So that's when we get to the A chord. 3, 4. I added this little upbeat on the E, an open E string before we get to that sonority right there. And I kind of did it on accident one time, to be honest with you, and I like the sound of it, so I kept it in. But I like it because, as you probably know, E is 5 of A, so we're kind of getting a strong really strong sort of chord motion sort of hidden within the song. So from my E, open E up to A, I think that's a pretty cool effect. So from the B7 it sounds like this, 2, 3, 4. Back to an E chord. One risk of bending strings is you can throw your guitar out of tune, which I did, so I paused the video and tuned up. And now let me show you the lick on the E chord. So we've got the A, the B, to the A chord, 4 measures. Then we're on to the E right there. So here's that lick. Back to the top. It's another super classic, super common blues lick that you might know. I'm sliding up to the 4th fret on my G string, the 3rd fret on my B string, and playing that open E. And what I'm doing, I'm actually playing my thumb on my G string, so I've already kind of broken that rule of your thumb just playing the bottom 3 strings. And I'm kind of rolling it almost sort of like a banjo. Moving the whole thing down chromatically by half step. Hammer on, release that G sharp down to G, then I'm at my B7. One more time. So this is one of those licks where there's a million different ways to play it. You can experiment with it and see what sounds good to you. You can do that kind of thing. Play the notes simultaneously or roll them like I did. You don't have to play the open E. But you're basically just going chromatically from this. Landing on an E, I'm playing the top 3 notes of an E chord, a G sharp, a B, and an E. Quickly to that B7, that's the last 2 measures of the blues form. Back to the top. One more little thing that I think really sounds great on this is to get those octave open E's before you go into the lick. So from the B7. I talked about when I arrive at the A, I sort of brush this open E before I arrive on the A chord, and it gives me a strong chordal motion from 5 of 1 to A in A major basically. And then I'm kind of doing the same thing here. I'm just, and again I think I did this on accident the first time, playing that open B note on an upbeat before I land on those octave E's. Just gives me another really strong 5-1 motion, this time to E. So once again from the B7 chord, 2, 3, 4. That'll be back to the top of the form. One more time, 2, 3, 4. And that is how to play that super cool lick on the A chord and the turnaround lick for Sweet Home Chicago. So I'm going to put it all together for you and play through my version of Sweet Home Chicago a couple times without the vocals so you can really focus on the guitar. I've got my metronome going at 88 beats per minute. I'm going to stay in E major, not using a capo. Again, if you want to play along with Robert Johnson, he's got a capo on the 2nd fret, so it sounds like an F sharp blues, and you just move everything up accordingly by 2 frets. But I'm going to play just open position of E for this. So here we go. 1, 2, 3. Sorry. 1, 2, 3. More time. And that is how to play Robert Johnson's Sweet Home Chicago. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.